Good day, Janice. Thanks for accepting this e-interview with me due to the current COVID-19 safety measurement. So we are not able to conduct a face-to-face interview.
Hello, Desmond. Well understood. I wish to having face-to-face interview with you too.
The objective of today e-interview with you is to assist me in gaining some insight by sharing your experience and opinion on event planning. All we know that campus activity provide exciting and supportive opportunity for students to study, lead, exercise social responsibility, and develop interpersonal skill while experiential learning. But there are still many individuals do not consider curriculum activity to be important when discussing the topic. Although there have numerous benefits that touch on many parts of an individual growing. So today I'm grateful for the opportunity to have Janice here, who is an ex-publicity manager of interest group, to share some of her experience and perspective on planning and on campus event. Would you like to introduce yourself to begin this interview?
Hi, Desmond. Sure, I would be glad to. My name is Janice, and I'm currently a working adult who is also an ex-publicity manager of Conservation IG. So IG is actually stand for interest group during my school time in Republic Polytechnic, where I graduated in the 2017.
Welcome, Janice. That's cool. Can you tell us a little bit about Conservation IG and what do you perform as a publicity manager during your school days? And what are some of your responsibilities before we get started?
Okay. Conservation IG is actually a group of students. We are interested in raising awareness about contemporary environmental issues and concerns. Our goal is actually to inspire students and the general public to adopt a green lifestyle and contribute to the environmental protections as well. So we hope that after 3 years, students will be aware of environmental challenge and will choose to live a green lifestyle on their own initiative by encouraging others to do the same. My primary role as a public city manager is to develop and maintain relationship with the students in order to raise awareness. So I used to create a communication plan with other interest group for collaborations. And when the time we need extra hands to assist in any kind of activity. So I also manage the public relations effort with internal, our committees and facilitators. External stakeholders are, for example, like vendors, speakers, and sponsors sometimes. I will also need to and use the social media to spread the words, such as sending out internal school emails to invite students, and also promoting over socials medias like Facebook and Instagram as well.
I'm extremely impressed by your environmental effort and contribution because none of my friends, including myself, are environmental conscious. It took my interest on how did you convey this awareness throughout the event, and why did you organize and participate in this activity?
Okay, as a public city manager, I am used to involve in events. So that is one of my responsibility. I believe I still can remember my first event was to host a 2-day event. That means that the workload is actually double of a typical event. So the event is called Conservations Fortnight. It's an annual program. It's our annual program in our IG lah. It's designed to raise awareness among students about the importance of environmental conservations and to attract students who are interested in environmental conservations, thereby deepening their knowledge and interest in some of the subject like global warming and such on.
Wow, it's a 2-day event. How did you find the time to juggle your study and event? Because it's not an easy job when come to organizing an event, especially the annual event.
Yeah, planning an event is not as simple as we think. It is without a doubt a massive undertaking, I would say. To create a successful event, lots of times and efforts, especially team spirits, is required. In my own viewpoint, I am fortunate to have a supportive and cohesive team on which I can lean when I'm having trouble keeping up with my busy schedule.
I agree that team spirit is an important element when come to teamwork. So how did you and your team carry out the activity or the event?
Normally, we would convey a lot of internal meeting. We call this meeting like kick-off meeting, which to establish an event master plan. So we will outline the event purpose, goals, and timeline along with individual and also team responsibilities and some of the expectation that the school or our facilitator might want us to achieve. So for annual program like the Conservations Fortnight, is actually being considered as the fundamental program in our IG. So the master plan is an extreme vital in existing the subsequent process to run more smoothly. It need to include a majority of small elements from the start, like setting an objective of the activities, also establish a budget. How do we reach out vendors and also finding different venue for our event planning, and also to develop and plan an event activities, all the small little details we would need to include in the master plan as well.
I see. The master plan appeared to be a significant planning tool for preparing an event. Also, you mentioned some steps to organizing an event. Can you briefly share on how the team go through on the step to organize an event, and let's take Conservation Fortnight as an example?
Well, first we will define the activity aims, like what we want to achieve when we finish this event, and who are our target audience, and so on. So if I use Conservation Fortnight as an example, we developed a team that centered on the topic of global warming on my year. Is to let students to understand what are some of the impact of our daily life activities that contribute to these environmental issues.
Is it really that difficult to come out with a term for the event, for an event?
For me, the answer would be a yes and no. Yes, because it is difficult to develop connected activity if we do not have a general notions of the issue. No, for me, because we are conservation IG, so actually we already have the areas of topic. Moreover, our facilitators who act as our advisors will provide us with some advice and help, making this easy for my team to establish a team for the event.
Janice, I'm glad to hear that, because I'm also considering how to construct team. What about the financial issue experience?
When it comes to creating a budget, we always assess the prior event, which entail looking back at the cost and establish a guideline. So, however, because of budget is something directly related to venue booking and reaching out to vendors. Therefore, money is always the most difficult things to regulate owning to various activities and event requirement, I would say. As a result, there's a lot of pre-work need to be done, such as conducting venues and product survey, as well as comparing and negotiating pricing charts with the suppliers and vendors as well.
Are there any difficulties when negotiating with the vendor or suppliers?
Because we are considered as an official conservation group at the school, and also is well known to Singapore public. It is common to have such conservation IG in different schools. So when I go to seek for sponsor opportunities from time to time, it is quite easy to engage, I could say. Our school will also help us and external vendors are willing to provide special offer to us because most of the suppliers are having long-term relationship with the school and also our IG. So it is not that difficult for me to further nego with them because they all understand that what is the situation, and also by giving a special offer, they will also doing some good things to the schools and to the communities as well. So we will also source for new vendor as well, depend on the event requirements. I'm thankful to the technology today because with internet, everything is possible. So I often source sponsors over social media, and most of the business owner are willing to provide a special discount for student activities, or even they offer me different sponsors as well.
Can you tell me about the vendor who will be present at your event? I wonder what kind of vendor will be involving in the event.
Well, there's a lot actually. Because there will be numerous venue booking ranging from inside the school to outside the field. Nevertheless, while we're talking about site, transportation is also included. Following that are catering, lunch, dinner, and also pastry for tea times sometimes. So aside from the suppliers on the event day, decorations, renting of audio system or projector, also some promotional purpose item like poster, flyers, is also taken into account. So, although that it is not a large sum, but it must be included in the budget in order to establish and to improve the accuracy for next year, to reuse the budget framework as well.
There are numerous vendors participating in an event about which I was previously unaware. What is the next step in the event planning process?
Finally, I would say that developing numerous activity for the event is the most difficult element in an event, because we would always need to return to the teams when developing and planning event activities. For instance, in the case of global warming, we will organize an event activities to demonstrate the impact on the climax on how human activity contribute to global warming, which eventually aids us in achieving our goal of raising people's awareness of their daily life.
Understood. So how do you schedule the flow of various activities? And what are some of your specific job scope for the conservation fortnight event?
Conservation fortnight take place over the weekend. It is included with on-campus, and off-campus event. So the event always begin with an icebreaker game, followed by divisions of students into different groups. It is simple to manage them as a group because during outing section, there's a lot of students we need to manage. So in group, there will be move around with groups and we can manage easily. So we'll usually ask them to elect a leader from among themselves. For conservation fortnight, we will first have activities around the school campus, and there is also a plan for a field trip to a park and activities such as chest hike and the constructions of a compost bin. So while for evening section, we will have our speaker to give some speech, which my role in this event entails confirming. Besides confirming the sponsors, I also invite speakers to our event, which most of them will be someone who is our school alumni, or I will get contact from some of the alumni or facilitator that have connections with the authorities such as Wildlife Reserve Singapore and the National Park Board and Park. So I will liaise with them on the themes and content of their speech, and also brainstorm and prepare interactive sections during their speech. I'm also in charge of the marketing and promotional plans to attract students in order to enhance the rate of participate.
Wow, your description is quite clear, and I believe I have a good knowledge of how to begin with an event. By the way, have you confronted any obstacle during the activities? Just out of my curiosity, how did you come up with a solution?
As I previously mentioned, collaboration is critical to the success of every event. So there are occasions when we have competing perspective during internal discussions. So for instance, when it comes to coming up with a subject or the appropriate activities to include in the sections, several approaches are possible. So I understood and appreciate that all the feedback and suggestion that my team provided, because all of us, I know all of us are having the same aim to achieve. So the key resolutions is all about communications. So it starts with acknowledging their contributions. I let them know that they are connected. Let them feel that they are connected at the work. So in a layman term, let them feel they are appreciated. So we will start to prioritize the areas of conflicts and disagreement, followed by setting a clear goal that we have to achieve together. So I think obstacles are clear when come to this step.
Okay, understood. I believe you are the type of leader who can lead a group of people and a good team player who regulate the team atmospheres at the same time. What have you gained from the activity?
I would say ability to organize, because the success is in the details when it comes to event planning. Because I have a lot of work ongoing at the same time. I have to keep track of deadlines, numerous tasks, multiple connections with the vendors, and continuously changing to-do lists and the schedule, because we never knew what may happen on next day. Sometimes maybe a speaker cancellations or lack of deco materials. So this is where I learned to be naturally organized. To keep my planning continuing, I need to be able to adapt this change and remain calm in the circumstance.
After hearing what you mentioned, I believe that organizing an event will be a significant challenge for me, but I still hope to able to hold a leader event in the future. Do to gain the skill and having the same experience and insight with you because I'm really bad in organizational skill. Last question for you. What would you do differently if you did it over again?
Every event has an issue. The majority of them are so minor that until no one would notice them. So as a result, I believe it is a good idea to include a backup plan or reactions plan in the planning to avoid unforeseen event. Like what I said before, it's speaker cancellations, maybe sometimes there's too few or too many attendees to manage, technical issues with the microphone, or even bad weather when having outdoor activities. These are what we could not control. So the first thing to consider when drafting a backup plan is to identify the potential issue and try to look forward, because these are the things that we could not predict, but if we having a backup or reaction plan on hand, we can react immediately. So this is to ensure that in all circumstances, no matter what kind of circumstance, they are under control.
I believe that have a backup plan is beneficial. I have an idea for this. How about have a priority plan on testing or have a dry run of the event to avoid a dispute?
That is indeed one of the way. I'm guessing you have already gotten a sense on how to organizing an event now.
Great, Janice. All of the tips and experience that you have generously shared have been acknowledged. Last but not least, I would want to express my gratitude for agreeing to this interview on short notice. Thank you a lot.
Welcome, Desmond. It is also it's been a pleasure speaking with you too, and I hope you have gained some of my insights from my experience and sharing. Thank you.
Thank you.